Good morning, my dear students. Last class we discussing about the introduction to human resource management and concept of the human resource management. In this class we discussed about the scope of the human resource management and history of the human resource management. Okay. So, the scope of the human resource management we can be discussed here. In this case, first of all, the human resource management scope, it can be described by the American Society of Training and Development, identified in the 9 areas. One is training and development. This is the scope, it can be identified by the American Society of Training and Development. One is training and development, second one is organization development, third one is organization and job design, organization design or the job design, human resource planning, selection and staffing, personal research and information system, compensation management or the compensation benefits, employee assistance, union or labor management relations. This is the 9 elements they can be identified the scope of human resource management by the American Society of Training and Development. Okay. As per comes to the India, in India, NIPM, National Institute of Personnel Management is the one of the institute. It is established in Calcutta. They can be identify the scope of human resource management into 3 broad areas. One is personal aspects and second one is welfare aspects and third one is industrial relation aspects. So, 3 parts, the 3 broad areas they can be divided: personal aspects, welfare aspects and industrial relations aspects. In this personal aspects, it can be deal with manpower planning, recruitment, selection, placement, transfer, promotion, training and development, layoff and retrenchment, remuneration, incentives and productivity. These are the personal aspects, it's cover the scope of human resource management. Human resource management. So, manpower planning, from manpower from manpower planning to productivity, various activities it can be involved. Manpower planning, first they can be prepare a manpower plan, how much it is required, what to be, how to we can be receiving, like this they can be prepare a plan. For that purpose they can be under that mean processing the recruitment system and they can be recruitment. Once they can be recruitment, it is started selecting the people and they can be given the placement. Sometimes they may be transferred from the one place to another place for the suitable persons in the suitable places purpose they can be transferred, and promotions and training and development, retrenchment, layoff, remuneration, incentives and productivity. These are the various personal aspects it covered by the NIPM, National Institute of Personnel Management in India. Whereas welfare activities, the scope of what are the human resource management in part of the welfare aspects, it deals with working conditions, amenities, such as working conditions and amenities such as canteen facilities, whatever the restrooms, lunchrooms, crisis facilities, like this, whatever the facilities it can be available within the working conditions at the work area, they can be comes under the deal, under that means the scope of human resource management. And another aspect is welfare aspects. In another element is housing accommodation to providing to the employee. Next is the transportation from whatever the home to office or the workplace, and media and medical assistance. Next, education, health, safety, recreational facilities. These are the welfare aspects also covered the human resource scope of human resource management. So, personal aspects, it covers the manpower planning, recruitment, selection, placement, transfer, promotion, training and development, layoff, retrenchment, remuneration, incentives and productivity. Welfare activities, it can be deal with the working conditions and work amenities, housing, accommodation, transportation, medical facilities, education, health and safety measures and recreational facilities. And another broad area is the industrial relations. It covers the union management relations. It is the one of the important element in the human resource management, union management relations. Joint consultation, workers and management, they can be come together to solve the discussing the various problems relating to the organization or the other aspects. And collective bargaining system, the employees and employers, they can be bargaining how much it can be benefits they can be offered, and all those things they can be discussing for the amenities what they are expected and what they the organization expected. These aspects it can be discussed here. Collective bargaining system, grievances and disciplinary procedures is the another aspects. It's also be covered the industrial relations. And settlement of disputes. Settlements of disputes, it is the part of what are the human resource management. So, the scope of human resource management, it can be given by the NIPM is a broad areas. It covers all the activities and the functions of the human resource management. From the personal aspects, welfare activities and industrial relation aspects. Like this, they can be divided in the three broad areas. So, this is the scope of human resource management. And comes to the history of human resource management. In the industrial revolution, before the industrial revolution, that means in the olden days, every family is the self-sufficiency. వాళ్ళ ఫ్యామిలీకి అవసరమైనవన్నీ వాళ్ళే ప్రొడక్షన్ చేసుకునే వాళ్ళు. They cannot be depends upon others. And time changes, it can be exchanging. And that means barter system it can be implemented within the village. Village is the self-sufficiency. ఒక విలేజ్లో కొంతమంది కొన్ని ప్రోడక్ట్స్ తయారు చేస్తే వేరే వాళ్ళు వేరే ప్రోడక్ట్స్ తయారు చేసే వాళ్ళు వీళ్ళకి అయ్యేవి వాళ్ళు ఎక్స్చేంజ్ చేసుకునే వాళ్ళు. లైక్ దట్ దే కెన్ బి డూయింగ్. And some that means the certain places or the certain villages they can be expected to producing certain quality of the products. ఆ ప్రోడక్ట్స్ని వాళ్ళు ప్రొడ్యూస్ చేయడానికి వాళ్ళు స్పెషలిస్ట్ అయిపోయారు. ఎప్పుడైతే అలా అయిపోయారో there is a lot of demand it can be created. అందుకోసం ఒక్కొక్క విలేజ్ వాళ్ళేమో ఒక్కొక్క ప్రోడక్ట్ని తయారు చేయడం వాళ్ళేమో హైలైట్ అవ్వడం అనేది సిస్టమ్ ఇదైంది. ఎప్పుడైతే ఇవన్నీ మాన్యువల్ సిస్టంలో చేసేటప్పుడు చేంజెస్ చేసుకునే వాళ్ళు, కానీ ఇండస్ట్రియల్ రెవల్యూషన్స్ వచ్చేటప్పటికి చాలా చేంజెస్ వచ్చేసింది. బిఫోర్ ఇండస్ట్రియల్ రెవల్యూషన్ ది పీపుల్ అంటే ఎంప్లాయర్ అండ్ ఎంప్లాయీ ఈజ్ ద సేమ్. ఎవరు మటుకు వాళ్ళు ప్రొడక్ట్స్ తయారు చేసుకునే వాళ్ళు, వాళ్ళకి అవసరం వచ్చినప్పుడు వాళ్ళకి అవసరమైన వినియోగించుకునే వాళ్ళు, మిగతావేమో సేల్ చేసేవాళ్ళు. అంటే ఎంప్లాయర్ అండ్ ఎంప్లాయీ ఈజ్ ద సేమ్. బట్ డ్యూ టు ఇంక్రీజింగ్ ద పాపులేషన్, demand, increasing the demands in the market, there is a need to whatever the increasing the productivity. For this purpose, automatically we can be producing large scale of productivity to meet the demand of the industry or the organization. So, the industrial revolution came into existence. They can be producing a large scale, not the small scale. So, employer is different from the worker. Employee is different from the employer. So, employees, certain person they can be invested the amount, engaging certain people. The people who are engaged, those people are producing the products. automatically it can be employer is different from the employer, automatically the changes it can be arises. So, industrial revolution it can be started the necessity of whatever the human resource management. Next, scientific management, the father of scientific management, F.W. Taylor, they can be given the new under scientific management theory to the management. So, work study, motion study, like that they can be divided into the various class of the people, that mean highly performed people, low performed people, differential piece rate system they can be adopted. Due to that, automatically there is increasing the whatever the demands, efficiency it can be playing the main role. So, in this case there is a lot of whatever the variations it can be arises between the workers. The efficient people they can be work and receiving the higher amount of the remunerations, higher amount of the piece rate system, and the person who are not reaching the standard level they receiving the low piece rate system. So, the people they can be leave from the organization, and that means he can be encouraging the person who are working with the standard level more than standard level and discouraging to the people who are not reaching the standard levels. So, it is also be the differences it can be created among this the whatever the human resource, this is the another step. And next is the trade unionism. So, the trade unionism, the people they can be who are working in a one place, they come together and discussing the various activities and what the problems they can be faced in the organization, within the organization, they can be discussed with their union members, they collectively they can be whatever the solve these activities, like that they can be managing. The trade unionism it can be developed. Next is the human relation movement. Human relation movement in which the employer they can be in the earlier industrial revolution time they can be treated as a mission, employees also be treated as a mission. 10 rupees we can be offered for 1 hour, 100 rupees we can be offered for the 10 hours for engaging the people, 200 rupees we can be offered 20 hours for engaging the people. But the person we like a mission we cannot be treated as a human being. In a particular day continuously 20 hours they cannot be working in the same performance. So, like that the human relation movement it can be arises. Next is the human resource approaches. These are the changes it can be take place in the history of human resource management. Next to the genesis or growth of whatever the human resource management in India. During 1920s, the welfare of the factory workers only they can be taken into consideration. In the earlier, there is no protection. Always the government they can be given the whatever the priority to the producers. In those days, demand is more, supply is very less. It is very much difficult to meet the demands. So always the government it can be encouraging the people who are increasing the productivity. Producers they can be motivating to the producers, but they neglecting towards the workers, employees class of the people. But it can be considered during 1920s, the first what are the labor welfare enactment, payment of compensation act, workers compensation enactment passed in 1921. So, in 1921 they can be concentrated only the employees who are working in the factories. Next is the in 1931 as per the recommendations of the Royal Commission, they can be appointed a labor officer. The labor officer they can be take care about the grievances faced by the employees. So, it can be given priorities from 1920s onwards. It can be some extent concentrating on the employees or the workers problems. In Factories Act 1948, they can be made so many changes it can be take place to protecting the worker class of the people. If they can be engaging more than 500 people, they must be appointing the welfare officer. In those days, they can be take care of the welfare officers. So, welfare officers they must be appointed. And according to the Factories Act, so many whatever the benefits they can be provided to the workers. Any organization, if they can be engaging more than 250 or more, they must be maintaining the canteen facilities within the workplace. A convenient points also be established at a subsidized rate. So many changes it can be take place. And next is the trade union movements gather the lot, and the people who are working in the same organization, the different organizations, same trade of the people, they can be come together discussing the various activities and how the problems they can be faced, how to solve the unionism it can be started. During 1950s, professional bodies are established. Indian Institute of Personnel Management, IIPM, it can be established in Kolkata, and National Institute of Labor Management established in Mumbai. 1950s, the whatever the professional bodies are established, two professional bodies established. One is IIPM in Kolkata and NIPM in NILM, National Institute of Labor Management at Mumbai. During the 1960s, the personal functions wind up whatever the welfare officers, welfare that mean labor welfare, industry relations, personal administrations emerged as a complementary parts of the personal management. That means in 1960s, they can be established as a personal functions. And only in the earlier, only welfare activities they can be taking as a part. But in this case, 1960s onwards, personal functions also be taken into consideration. They can be divided into the three parts. One is labor welfare, and second one is industrial relations, and third one is personal administration. In 1970s, welfare are shifted towards the higher efficiency. The change of the professional values of the personal managers was visible, and it can be clearly identified. In 1980s, due to the new technology and other environmental changes, HRD, human resource development, become the major issues. And during the 1980s, the IIPM, NILM, Indian Institute of Personnel Management, and National Institute of Labor Management, they are come together and merged and formed as a new organization, National Institute of Personnel Management, NIPM, at Calcutta. So during 90s, human resource management, it can be emerged, and it is whatever the distinct discipline, the human values and the philanthropies and the various people come together and doing the various activities. So these are the various changes it can be take place. The growth of human resource management in the earlier stages, just welfare activities very nominal, and in 1940s or the 50s, welfare is only, human resource management is nothing but only welfare. It can be welfare to industrial relations, welfare, industrial relation and productivity. And next is, it is treated as a personal management, and personal management to become the HRD, human resource development, and in the 1990s, it becomes the human resource management. So these are the changes it can be take place. Evaluation of the concept of human resource management. In the olden days, the commodity system it can be followed. Commodity, that means the employees, they can be treated as the end product, as a mission. So we can be given 1 liter of petrol to the mission, they can be running 1 hour. If you are offered 10 rupees or the 100 rupees, 1 hour they can be engaged. If you are offered 1000 rupees, they may be working 10 hours. If you are offered 1500, they may be working as a 15 hours. But we cannot be treated as a mission. But in the olden days, they can be treated as a commodity. Human resource is, they can be treated as a commodity. And next it can be changes from the commodity to factors of the production concept. So there is a 4 factors of production. That means capital, land, labor, organization and entrepreneurship. So the one of the factor, 4 factors lo oka factor kinda treat chesaru in the whatever the factors of production system. And next one is patternistic concept. Patternistic concept means, that means the unions are emerges, unions are increasing the demand to asking the various problems facing by within the organizations. Automatic ఏం చేశారు, employer they can be treated as a ఒక హెల్డర్గా వాళ్ళతో అంటే రిలేషన్స్ మెయింటైన్ చేసి అదంతా ఒక అంటే ఒక యజమానిగా లేదా ఒక ఇంటికి ఒక పెద్దలాగా అతను ట్రీట్ చేసి వాళ్ళందరినీ సాల్వ్ చేసి హ్యూమన్ అంటే వాళ్ళని అందరినీ ఒక ప్రొడక్టివిటీ వైజ్ తీసుకెళ్ళడానికి అతను సక్సెస్ అయ్యాడు అన్నమాట. సో పెటర్నిటిక్ సిస్టమ్ ఇట్ కెన్ బి అంటే ఎమర్జ్డ్. నెక్స్ట్ ఈజ్ ద హ్యుమానిటేరియన్ కాన్సెప్ట్. పెటర్నిక్ సిస్టమ్స్లో అంటే ఒక్కొక్కరిని ఒక్కొక్కలా ట్రీట్ చేసే వాళ్ళని కొంచెం డివైడ్ చేసుకుంటూ చేసేవాళ్ళు. దా సిస్టమ్ నుంచి హ్యుమానిటేరియన్ కాన్సెప్ట్స్ కిందకి వచ్చారు. హ్యుమానిటేరియన్ కాన్సెప్ట్ నుంచి బిహేవియరల్ హ్యూమన్ రిసోర్స్ కాన్సెప్ట్స్కి వచ్చింది. బిహేవియరల్ కాన్సెప్ట్స్కి వచ్చేసరికి వాళ్ళ తలకి యాటిట్యూడ్స్, ఎబిలిటీ, టేస్ట్, ప్రిఫరెన్సెస్, వాళ్ళకి తగినట్లు వాళ్ళకి వర్క్ని అలాట్ చేయడం, వాళ్ళని ఎంగేజ్ చేయడం, ఇవన్నిటిని వాళ్ళకి ప్రయారిటీ ఇవ్వడం అనేది ఎమర్జ్ అయింది అనమాట. నెక్స్ట్ ఈజ్ ద ఎమర్జింగ్ ద కాన్సెప్ట్. సో హ్యూమన్ రిసోర్స్ మేనేజ్మెంట్ కాన్సెప్ట్ ఇది ప్రజెంట్ అదేమి ఎమర్జింగ్ ఇది వచ్చింది. దీంతో ఆటోమేటిక్గా ఎంప్లాయీస్ అందరూ కూడాను వాళ్ళు ప్రాపర్గా ఆర్గనైజేషన్స్లో వాళ్ళ జాబ్ని ప్రాపర్గా చేయడానికి వాళ్ళు యూజ్ అవుతుంది అనమాట. దిస్ ఈజ్ ద స్కోప్ అండ్ వాట్ ఎవర్ ద హిస్టరీ ఆఫ్ హ్యూమన్ రిసోర్స్ మేనేజ్మెంట్. Thank you for giving this opportunity.